Well, hello again, peoples of the internet. Welcome back to KimchiRednecks. So today we're doing another cooking video because I have to cook dinner. Because yes, I can cook too, not just Melissa. So today I'm going to be making some curry. Specifically, I call it Asian curry. Depends on who you ask. Some people call it Japanese curry, some will call it Okinawan, some will call it Korean, some will call it pretty much any country in this area that they think originated it. I don't care who originated it, I just like to eat it because it's good. Anyway, so what we're going to be using is some pork, because pork makes good curry in my opinion. Chicken works too. I've got my curry mix because I do not know how to make curry when it's not a pre-made mix like that. And for the vegetables, got a potato, an onion, and a carrot. Those are your traditional ones, and simply because I have one that I have to use or throw it away, I'm going to put some zucchini in it as well, because vegetables. So, I am going to get my hard vegetables chopped up and prepped, because I'm a prep cooker. Melissa hates that because I wind up making a lot of dishes. And I am going to get this stuff ready to go in the pot behind me. So, here we go. Alright, so I finished chopping all the veggies except for this guy right here. Zucchinis cook a lot faster than everything else, so I'm going to wait till I get everything else in the pot and cooking before I chop that one up, because I'm going to just drop that in about 10-15 minutes before it's done, and that ought to be good enough. So anyway, what I've got at the moment is my pork, which I have seasoned with a little bit of salt, pepper, and sesame oil, and then set it up here to let it sit for a little bit. And as I'm sure you noticed, I've got my potatoes and my carrots, which are the hard vegetables, and they take the longest to cook, set into a bowl together. So I'm going to get this in the pot and brown it a little bit, and then once it is almost brown, I'm going to toss these veggies in, and I'm going to cook them a little bit. And when they start to turn a little bit translucent around the edges, I'm going to add some water. Then I will add my curry mix, and we will get this show on the road. So I've got the meat browned up, the carrots and potatoes added. I added a little bit more oil to get the fry going. So in a couple minutes, stir that real quick. In a couple minutes, I will add the onions, and then once those start to translucen up a little bit, I will add the mix and the water, or technically the water then the mix. So, it's been a couple minutes. I washed my bowls because the women folk get irate when you mess up their kitchen and leave it that way. So I have added the onions. As you can see, they're starting to get a little clear around the edges. So are the potatoes. And I got a little bit of brown on the bottom because I let it sit too long. Now, it is time to add the water. So in general, and this is very general, I learned this recipe from a roommate of mine in college. So if for some reason, H, you are listening to this, thank you for teaching me how to cook curry. So I put just enough water in that the onions start to float. And cover, bring to a boil. Alright, so we have now come to a boil. So what I'm going to do is grab my curry mix here, and then I'm going to try to do this on camera, ever so gently, drop one of each of the 4 pieces in the container into each quarter of the pot. So as that hot water gets in that and starts to soften that up, start to stir. The color will start to change almost immediately. It'll start taking on that brown cast. So I'm going to stir this probably about for the next 5 minutes or so to make sure that the curry mix gets all mixed up and broken down. And then I will put the lid back on and cook it at a simmer for about 25 to 30 minutes. Actually, I'll probably cook it for about 15, then add the zucchini and then finish it off for another 15. So that's how we roll. All right, so I've been stirring for a couple minutes here. Let me not get extreme face close up there. And what we've got here is curry. The mix has broken down, and as you can see, it turns into kind of a gravy at this stage. It's still a little loose because it just broke down. So what I'm going to do for the first 10 minutes or so is cook it with the lid on, so that keeps the steam in, keeps the temperature high, and helps finish cooking the carrots and potatoes. And then once I chop this up, I will put it in there when it's been cooking for about 10 minutes or so, and then I will cook it the last 15 minutes or so uncovered, so the steam can get out and it can cook down a little bit, because the Asian gravy is supposed to be a little on the thicker side. I will get on to that, and you're lucky because you don't have to watch it. It's been cooking for about 10 minutes. And if you can see here, it wouldn't coat the spoon before, it just kind of ran off. So it is thickening up. And the potatoes and carrots, or at least the carrots here, are starting to get, see, I can cut that in half with a silicone spatula. So those are softening up good. So I will go ahead and add my zucchini, because that's good and healthy, right? That makes this a salad. I got carrots and onions and zucchini in it. That's got to qualify as a salad somewhere, right? So I am going to allow this to cook for at least another 10 minutes. I'll check the zucchini to make sure when it's done, and let this cook open top so that the steam gets out, so it will thicken up a little bit more. So see you in a few minutes. All right, so it's been about actually been about 25 minutes. I had to put the lid back on for a little while to bring the temperature up, because I brought it down to a simmer so that it didn't burn the curry, but the zucchini was taking a little longer than I wanted to cook. So I covered it back up for a little while to bring the temperature up. So we are about good. We're cutting the gas off. So we turn the eye off, then we cut the gas off, because I don't want my house to burn down. So you can see now that it is thickened up quite a bit from what it was. It's still a bit on the thin side, but if you're going to eat it with rice, that's good. If you're one of those perfectionists and you want it a certain consistency, you can always make a bit of a slurry, a mix of, I think it's cornstarch and hot water, and slowly add that in and stir it until it thickens up to whatever consistency you're looking for. So this is about ready for my dinner for tonight. So quick fact, if you don't know it about curry, at least this kind of like apple curry or Asian curry, it is actually better the second and third day. So since I just cooked it, all the flavors and everything from the curry mix haven't really had a whole lot of time to grab a hold and meld with the potatoes and the carrots and whatnot. So it'll still be good, but tomorrow it would be better. But I don't feel like waiting until tomorrow to eat it. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to grab my little bowl of cooked rice, which I have popped the edge of the seal on so that it doesn't explode. And I'm going to throw it in here for the 2 minutes. Otherwise it won't cook all the way and your rice will be hard in the center. That's no bueno. I'm going to finish cooking my rice, and I will set up my dinner and you can see what it looks like when it's done. This has finished. Be careful of the little lip there where all the steam's going to come out, because it is lightly nuclear. We'll get over here. Bop. White rice. An Asian sticky rice. If you've never had Asian sticky rice, Korean rice, or Japanese rice, or Philippines, or Thailand, or whatever, this is a different kind of rice. Put the lid back on that for the rest of it. Come along with me on a magic curry ride. I'm gonna grab a big ladle. Don't overfill your ladle so you don't get stuff all over your countertops. There we go. And that's, boys and girls, that is a bowl of curry. I am gonna have lunch. Lunch, what time of day do I think it is? I'm gonna have dinner, and then I'm gonna clean up behind myself. And then when Melissa gets home, I'm gonna give her dinner. So maybe I'll show you that. Maybe not. We'll find out. All right, so Melissa has finally made it home.
Only at 10:30 at night.
Yeah, she had a late night. So I saved her some curry, although I know she ate dinner at work. So she's gonna taste test the curry.
He thinks I had dinner at work, but I never got dinner at work. So I'm going to taste test the curry.
I'd have told somebody to kiss my rear end. Called delivery. I don't let people tell me I don't get time to eat.
All right. It smells really good. It tastes really good. Chuck's curry is always good. I likes it.
So if you've had other curries, Indian curry tends to have a broader range of flavors. It has a lot more different spices in it. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Indian curry. Some of it can be kind of ridiculously hot if you've ever had a vindaloo. But it, like this, tends to be kind of gravy-ish in texture is what I call it. If you've ever had like a Thai curry, they tend to be a little more soupy. They're usually served with like, I think glass noodles or something, maybe some rice. But they tend to have a looser texture to them. Asian curry tends to have more of a creamy sweetness. I think it's made with either apples or pears, or both, one or the other. So, oh, sorry, Suki dog, don't stand under my feet. I have put the rest of it in containers. So, never store curry in anything expensive, because like spaghetti sauce, it is really good at staining containers. So unless you always want to use those containers for that dish, use something you want to keep long term. And anyway, about this size, one of these and one of these bowls of microwavable rice is about a perfect combination size-wise. Not too much of a meal.
That was actually perfect.
But not too small that it'll leave you with the munchies in 10 minutes. So, good night.
Cooked.
Yes, I did. Good night from Korea, and everybody enjoy your own dinner, because this one was ours.